Stretching tight hamstrings, and for that matter, strengthening tight hamstrings, will never permanently loosen tight hamstrings. This is because hamstring dysfunction is often a consequence of lower back dysfunction. And if you'd like to immediately figure out what role your back is having on your hamstring tightness, then recline back on a foam roller like this, or place a lacrosse ball into your back like this. Before we do anything, perform a baseline test to get a sense of how tight your hamstrings feel specifically, or do a general movement that allows you to figure out how far to the ground you can get. Get a general sense of how your hamstring tissue feels. Spend a few minutes on each spot that you feel is stiff, tight, or restricted until you feel like things begin to mobilize. Immediately reassess the exact same test that you did before to see if anything feels genuinely looser than it did before. Interestingly, one of the main causes of tightness down the back of your leg, especially the back of your knee, isn't actually hamstring muscle tightness, but increased tension through the sciatic nerve. So with this in mind, hinging forwards from your hips and lightly placing your hands on a surface, and systematically straightening one leg while bending the other leg, we can do what's called an elephant walk and try and free up some of the tissue through the back of the leg, especially that sciatic nerve. Immediately reassess how far you can go with each one of those movements once again, before finally doing an actual hamstring stretch to take care of any of that tissue that may have actually become tight. Keep a slight bend in your knee and hinge forward from your hips as far as you feel comfortable until you feel a stretch in the muscle belly at the back of your thigh. Tense that tightness for 5 to 10 seconds. Once you stop tensing, that muscle will give a fraction, which means you may be able to then go a little bit further into the stretch than you could before repeating that same process. Because at the end of the day, hamstring muscle tightness is a consequence of something else. So if all that you do to combat that muscle tightness is hamstring muscle stretching, then you may be neglecting the important role that the lower back has on the function of your hamstrings. And if your back is a factor here, then there's every chance that you're not putting your back in a good position when you're doing the things that you do the most throughout the day.